America's underground vaults have been completely emptied by China. Recently, gold and silver have suffered a mysterious and violent sell-off, while US tech and financial stocks took a bizarre collective dive. Are you confused? Just days ago, the world was cheering for all-time highs in precious metals. Now, investors are being buried at the peak. You hold AI tech stocks that Wall Street promised would grow forever. Yet, you watch your profits evaporate daily. Today, I am revealing a truth that will chill you to the bone. America's underground vaults have been systematically drained by China. The titan banks of Wall Street are facing a crisis they cannot hide. They simply cannot deliver physical gold and silver. They are facing a total bankruptcy at the physical level. To survive, they've hit the nuclear button, using infinite virtual capital to trigger a bottomless, violent market dump. They are forcing you to panic sell, tricking you into voluntarily surrendering your right to claim physical bullion. Over the next few minutes, I am going to strip away Wall Street's facade. Whether you hold stocks, funds, or precious metals, if you want to survive this great reset of 2026, you need to sit down, be quiet, and etch every single word of this into your mind. To understand this global financial drama, you first must understand the bully logic of the American financial elite. For decades, the London Bullion Market Association and the New York Mercantile Exchange, known as the LBMA and COMEX, held the monopoly over global pricing. They decide what an ounce of gold or silver is worth. But in your subconscious, you probably assume that for every trade on the screen, there is an equivalent bar of gold or silver sitting in a vault. If you believe that, you are being naive. They are playing a paper leverage gamma high-stakes fractional reserve system that is inherently fragile and extremely dangerous. They issue paper contracts that far exceed their actual physical reserves, using these digital shadows to anchor and suppress the real price of gold and silver. Think of it like an airline. Suppose an airline has only 100 seats, but it sells 10 zero tickets. As long as those 10 zero people don't show up at the gate at the same time, as long as they just trade their tickets back and forth, to profit from the price difference, the airline can keep the game going forever. They can even manipulate the ticket prices at will. For decades, Wall Street has been that airline, and gold and silver have been the flight with only 100 seats. As long as everyone plays the digital game on their screens and settles for cash, this Ponzi scheme built on paper remains standing. But in 2026, the game is over, because some very smart players are finally demanding to board the plane. Look at the data that should make your blood run cold. As of early 2026, the registered silver stocks at COMEX, the actual physical metal available for delivery, have plummeted to less than 90 million ounces. That might sound like a lot, but look at the open interest on paper contracts, a staggering 230 million ounces. What does this mean? It means that for every single ounce of real silver in the market, there are 3 or more people holding legal paper contracts demanding delivery. And that's just the public data. If you include over-the-counter trades and dark pools hidden within bank ledgers, the ratio of paper to physical metal could be as high as 100 to 1. 100 people holding tickets for one single silver bar in the vault. This is the underlying logic behind the recent unprovoked crash in precious metals. It's not because world peace has arrived, and it's not because industry no longer needs silver. This crash is a forced liquidation orchestrated by Wall Street insiders. When physical inventory hits zero and buyers stop playing with paper and demand real bullion, the short sellers, the core Wall Street banks, realize they are trapped. In the financial world, failure to deliver is a default. Default means astronomical fines and the instant collapse of the credit system. It means a century-old investment bank could vanish in 48 hours. In this life or death struggle, what do? Since they cannot provide the physical goods, they use their infinite supply of paper dollars to smash the market price. They want to crush your spirit, trigger your margin calls, and force you to liquidate in a bloody panic. Once you are forced out, your contract is cancelled, and you lose your right to demand physical metal. This is the logic of a predator. Do not be intimidated by the sea of red on your screen. It's not your assets losing value. It's the house using your fear. to steal your last claim to real wealth. To see their true colors, look at March. March is a major delivery month for gold. We just witnessed the most blatant, shameless market manipulation in financial history. The logic is clear. The US is using bottomless price dumping to mask an imminent physical default. The numbers don't lie. By early March, the ratio of gold inventory to open paper contracts at COMEX neared the death line of 1 to 40. 40 people in line for gold, and only one bar in the safe. When gold tried to break the 5,100 barrier, Wall Street went into a frenzy. Their algorithms show that if gold hit 5,200, the short positions of major banks would face a margin call of biblical proportions. The votes would be emptied within a week. To prevent this collapse, we saw irrational volatility around March 12th. Every time gold tried to break out, tens of thousands of paper gold sell orders were dumped into the market within minutes. These orders have zero physical backing. They are purely virtual data used for price assassination. It's like a casino owner who sees you winning all his cash, pulls out a gun, and says your chips are now worth a penny. This isn't because no one wants gold. It's because the exchange cannot afford to pay it out. But do they think they can play this game forever? The US has overestimated its power and underestimated China's wisdom. China's awakening has delivered the most lethal blow to the US financial system. We are talking about the true protagonist of this game, the Shanghai Gold Exchange. If the American paper game is a magic show, the Shanghai Gold Exchange is the one who walks on stage and flips the magician's table. The price decoupling between Shanghai and the West is the ultimate micro indicator of the global power shift. Unlike New York and London, which are obsessed with digital leverage, Shanghai's logic is hardcore and physical. The rule is simple. If you buy it, you can take it home. While the US suppresses paper prices, physical gold and silver are being hauled away by the truckload into Asia. This has created a phenomenon that infuriates Wall Street, the price premium. Because the US is artificially suppressing prices while Chinese demand is surging, gold and silver prices in Shanghai are significantly higher than in London or New York. The premium on gold has stayed above 25 per ounce, while silver has seen premiums as high as 14%. In the world of high finance, this massive risk-free arbitrage gap is a black hole for capital. International investors and even traders within Wall Street are smelling blood. Their strategy is simple. Step 1. Buy cheap paper contracts in New York. Step 2. Refuse cash settlement and demand physical delivery. Step 3. Fly that silver and gold to China. Step 4. Sell it on the Shanghai Gold Exchange for an instant, massive profit. This arbitrage loop is causing a one-way migration of physical wealth. America's vaults are experiencing an unprecedented hollowing out. According to logistics data, from January to March 2026, the volume of physical silver flowing from London to Shanghai surged by 400%. It's like a leak in a pipe that suddenly drains the entire river. Wall Street is panicking. To hide the shortage, in late 2025, they performed a desperate move, changing internal rules to move 95 million ounces of silver from registered to eligible categories, essentially locking it away from delivery. This is a confession. They are out of stock and are resorting to changing the rules of the game to survive. Shanghai has now replaced New York and London as the true price anchor for precious metals. China has completed the largest transfer of physical wealth in history. You might ask, if gold and silver are being manipulated, why are my AI tech stocks and US bank stocks also falling? The answer isn't in a recession or poor earnings. The answer is a liquidity and collateral crisis hidden deep within the system. Wall Street is robbing Peter to pay Paul. In 2026, the S&P 500 financial sector dropped nearly 10%. Why? Because these banks are desperately searching for cash to cover their margin calls in the gold and silver markets. To keep their massive short positions from being liquidated, they are forced to sell their most liquid assets, the blue chip AI stocks and bank stocks that retail investors love. They are burning the furniture to keep the house warm. Your stock portfolio is shrinking because you have become the collateral damage of their failed bets. The recent strength in AI stocks like Nvidia or Oracle Isn't a tech revolution a strategic cover for an orderly retreat? Wall Street knows how to play the retail investor. They use their media mouthpieces to hype the AI bull market, creating a perfect illusion. They are looking for exit liquidity bag holders. They sell their chips to you at the top and use that fresh cash to defend their burning fortresses in the metals market. It's a ruthless bait and switch. Furthermore, this market hit serves a political purpose. The US government is buried in debt. To force investors to buy US treasuries instead of stocks, they manufacture a market panic. When stocks crash, money flees to the safety of government bonds. It's a perfect one stone, two birds strategy. It covers the bank's margin calls and funds the US Treasury. But the real climax is coming in May. If March was the appetizer, May 2026 will be the super delivery month for silver. Silver is the Achilles heel of the US ecosystem because it is an industrial necessity for AI servers, solar panels, and electric vehicles. In February, the physical delivery rate for silver at COMEX hit a terrifying 98%. In a normal market, that number is in the low single digits. A 98% rate means the big players have stopped trusting each other. They don't want your green paper. They want the physical atoms. If delivery demands in May exceed the 90 million ounce red line, COMEX will face a force majeure, a legalized default. They will flip the switch, cut the wires, and tell the world, the vaults are empty. We have no silver. Here is some paper cash instead. When that happens, a financial nuclear bomb will detonate. The world will realize that paper prices are fake. Silver and gold will exit the digital era and enter a physical pricing era where prices are set by those who actually hold the metal. China, miners, and savvy investors. Without paper suppression, the price will have no ceiling. This timing aligns perfectly with the transition at the Federal Reserve. On May 15, 2026, Kevin Warsh is set to take over as Fed chair. The current market carnage is designed to give the new chair a credit floor. The old guard takes the blame for the crash, and the new chair arrives as the savior, ready to pivot and flood the market with liquidity. Why do we call this a conspiracy? Because beneath the derivatives and data, this is the final battle for global pricing power. America is using its last bit of hegemony to suppress the truth-telling mirrors of gold and silver. China is using strategic patience to buy up the world's real wealth at a discount. As an investor, you must watch 3 dates. First, watch the COMEX delivery data in late March. If deliveries are delayed, the system is fracturing. Second, watch the silver open interest in late April. If it stays high, a squeeze is inevitable. Third, watch May 15. The power vacuum at the Fed could be the spark for a historic price reset. The era of the green paper and digital code is ending. The era of the physical asset king is dawning. Do not surrender your real wealth in the final 5 minutes of darkness. History is grinding the old order into dust. Stay alive and claim your share of the new era.